Hey there everyone, Luke here, and oh boy, this week's Yozakura chapter, lot of information just dumped on us. Basically, exposition chapter getting back into the action, which is surprising, right? Because I thought we would get like more slice of life chapters, like I said. Last week, thought we were getting more slice of life chapters, but no, moving along with the plot, which, hey, I'm all for, because it seems like, based on what the information we're getting in this chapter, it seems like Asa is not going to be the final antagonist. Like, there's going to be someone much higher up there. But oh boy, Asa in this chapter. Want to make a good impression on how to do a creepy antagonist? Look no further than Asa. Now, before I talk about the chapter as well, one other thing is that, yeah, last week I didn't bring this up, but Keigo basically pretend to be the husband for his sister, as like, so that you can be together whenever you're away, and also trying to pretend to be his sister for the husband. Yeah, that is quite creepy. That's extremely creepy. That's something on the level of Koricho creepiness, but it's the Yozakura family. What do you expect from them? Like, they're already messed up enough that sure, why not? But at the same time, yeah, pretty creepy. But that's all I wanted to say on that front. For now, let's get into the chapter. Alright, so this will be chapter 164 titled Tsubumi's Visit. It's not so much as a visit, more in the sense of like someone. It's never actually explained who it actually was. Like, it can't be Asa, because it was just like, because it would have been like, oh, I've come to collect it. Like, if it was Asa dropping her off at the Yozakura family, then why would he do that, just to come back and collect her at the end of this chapter? But yeah, so it has to be someone else behind this, like who dumped Tsubumi at the Yozakura family mansion. So yeah, any theories? I'm more than welcome. But yeah, that Tayo and Mutsume are just there, just like, why is Tsubumi here? And we get to see the condition she is in, and it is bad. Like, her left arm and her right leg are both completely severed and gone, as we see her in Nano's lab in a tanker just trying. Oh, is it a tanker? No, it's somewhere on a bed, just surrounded by monitoring equipment. But yeah, she is in a pretty bad condition, and Nano's going like, oh, her body's quite strange. I could barely get a needle through her skin. So like, her skin's hardened up to the point that even Nano, who's like this super genius when it comes to medical supplies, even one of his needles couldn't get through. So there is something else going on here besides Asa and his group. Like, what else is going on here? Like, just the author Gondaria says it's just setting up all these mysteries, all these question and answers, all these potential groups it could be, because this is clearly not Asa's doing, or his group, because otherwise they'll be like, okay, we can get Tsubumi, we can go right now, and it's going to be evident right in this chapter. But yeah, Tayo's just asking the same questions like the audience are going on here. What's going on here? Something's different from before. Very different. But no, wait a second. No, what? Okay, she has the symbol for Asa. Like, okay, what is going on here? It's like, Asa has that same symbol. You see it on her shoulder. Like, what is actually going on here? Like, seriously. There has to be two separate groups, but there might be different branches. Like, I don't know what's going on here. But yeah, why would Asa do that? Like, seriously, I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure this guy out. But yeah, they go on and say, like, I don't know how to bring her back to conscience, but for now she needs quite a bit of bed rest. Okay, so she's in a bed at least. And we have Koricho being Koricho, just like, oh, she can rest in the afterlife. Let's just get her out of here right now. And everyone's just trying to hold him back. And Mitsumi's like, oh, you gotta deal with it, Koricho. We can't just ignore her. She's been dumped on our doorstep. We can't just leave her out there to die. And Karicho is just for once disagreeing with Mutsumi. Like Karicho's just one of those people who's just like, okay, Mutsumi, I'll do it whatever you for you. Okay, yes, fine, that's great. Yeah, okay, I agree with you. But not this time. He's like, no, Mutsumi, you are in the wrong here. We need to get her out of here. But he does actually have a legitimate reason for why he wants to get rid of Tsubumi. Like, he's like, okay, supposedly this was all Dad's doing, and Tsubumi is in his possession, and that's only hearsay. No one can prove it. For her to simply show up out of the blue like this, it's too suspicious on my part. So we need to not have her in here so that we don't have any more danger coming to us, and it'll just bring disaster by having her here, and she'll put all of you in danger. And you know exactly what happens when you guys get in danger. We cannot take this risk. And yeah, morally, she should be there. She should be there because she's still technically part of the family, even though she's long since abandoned them. But at the same time, yeah, can't just leave her on the street. But at the same time, Karicho does have a legitimate point here. It's like every time they've dealt with Tsubumi, bad stuff is happening. Everyone is kind of on agreement with Karicho here for once. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not saying we should dump her in a go, but we should at least turn her over to the association. This is Futaga's idea, and Kay was like, oh yeah, I agree with that. The last thing is that we want is something happening to Mutsumi again. So I like this little dynamic of like everyone agreeing with Karicho and not Mutsumi. Like Karicho is like seeing the bigger picture of just how much crap they've gone through having to deal with Tsubumi, and it's just like, no, Mutsumi, listen to me, we can't have this. But Shinso's just like, oh yeah, okay, Karicho, I understand your concerns, but we have to trust Mutsumi. She's the head of the family, so we have to go with her judgment, even though we have natural doubts about it. And now it's just like, yeah, well, even if she wanted to do something, she can't do it in this condition now. You can see how badly she's in Karicho, so I guess it'll be safer now to have her in my lab. And Mutsumi is in agreement with Karicho. She's not entirely saying like, no, you're wrong, Karicho, we have to have it. No, she knows that Tsubumi is extremely dangerous, but she's also the origin of everything Yozakura. Unless Asa's going to give us some explanation of why he called himself the creator of the Yozakura family. But she's like, look, this is a Yozakura problem. She's still technically a member of the family, and the mystery of why she came here and why now, that's something we need to be discussing as a family, which, again, perfectly logical answers here from both sides of the argument, from Karicho's side but also from Mutsumi's side. And yeah, Shion's just like, yeah, she does have a point there, because it does seem suspicious, which is why we need to figure out why she came here at this exact moment. And they haven't found the meaning of the brand on her shoulder yet, which, again, this is just baffling to me. Is like, if this was Asa's doing, why would he do that just to come and get her again at the end of the chapter? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like I said, this is leading to the theory of like Asa not being the final antagonist and him just being a branch of like a bigger organization, which a lot of people are theorizing it's the Zodiac organization. So maybe after we've done with Asa, we might get the true final antagonist of the series. It's the leader of the Zodiacs, but also he has like 12 underlings. So not only does that lead us to having the story go on a little bit longer, but also allows us to get much more into the lore of the series, which I absolutely adore. So continuing on, Shion says that, oh, I've been able to crack the chip embedded under her skin, and this thing is definitely a family matter. She just shows her like some data running through Suburu's chip, which says list of assets ready for delivery: Ryu Yozakura, Momo Yozakura, and Tsubumi Yozakura. And you see Momo in like this glass container full of liquid, along with Ryu's heart. But of course, Tsubumi is the one that's actually escaped, which again begs the question: who actually did that? Was it even Tsubumi on her own? Which explains why she's lost both her arm and leg. But one thing is very interesting here is that throughout this whole chapter, you see like this obvious encryption that is still in Japanese, not being translated. So, and I don't think it's even been translated in Japanese as well, which means it's obviously being hidden for a particular reason that we're not going to find out for God knows how long. But everyone is just freaking out by this, just freaked out by this, of just like, what is going on here? Why are our mum and dad in those glass containers? What is all of this? What does assets ready for delivery actually mean? So are they is the world considering the Yozakura family just livestock now for the world? Which would be extremely scary to think about. That's your only purpose, to be livestock, to be plantation, for lack of a better word, for the world. That would be absolutely scary to think about. She would say, like, the security on this online data was pretty dang hefty. Live stream monitors, temperature sensors, chemical ratios. It's like we're looking at a research data stream, and this is where Koichiro gets some ideas in it, sort of like, the mysterious man, obviously referring to Asta, must have collected her, keeping her along with Dad's remains and Mum's heart. But she found, all that thing before about me being confused about what Tsubumi was actually doing. I completely forgot about this part. Don't know why it's right in there, but so she did actually find a way to escape. So this is all Asa's work. But at the same time, like I've been saying, like, what other people on the Discord servers and on online have been saying, like, Asa may be the villain at the moment, but he might not actually be the final antagonist, so we might actually get the Zodiac theory. And Shion, like, not Shion, Shinzo, being like me, of like, this just confuses more. If she escaped, why come to it? Like, we'll go with that theory. Why did she come to you? But they go on to say, Shion goes to say, like, no clue, but I did find one thing, and it shows that, there's personal files for all of them too, Tayo included. Not sure why they don't include Ayaka and I in that situation. Or even Goliath, for that matter. Like, Goliath is considered one of the Yozakuras, but, I and Ayaka I could understand, but Goliath as well. Actually, why aren't they included, Ayaka and Aya, since they're technically members of the family now? Like, even though they don't have the Yozakura last name, they still have abilities that could be useful. Like, that is actually something I would like to be more of. Like, why aren't them three included in this graft here? Don't want anything bad to happen to I, obviously, but at the same time, it begs the question, why aren't they included? I'm guessing it's because it's just the ones born into the Yozakura family, but then Tayo's not born into the family, but then maybe it's someone got the do with the blood, but then I has the artificial blood that was created by Tampopo. Like, there's just so many things going on in my head right now that I'm just trying to figure out. More so than I was trying to figure out why Tsubumi was dumped. Now, that's the thing. It doesn't feel like she just came to them. It feels like she was just dumped there by someone. I don't know. But Tao's just freaking out, just saying, all of us? Well, not all of you. I mean, you've got I and Ayaka, Tao. And we get what the information is all about, of like the 10th generation head and siblings all are presently immature and require another 5 to 6 years growth. Okay, so we're getting like a decent time frame here of like how long it's going to be before they're actually worthy of being, we've got to go and collect them all, which means, like people been saying, we might get a time skip. But at the same time, we might not. But Party Jams did bring this up. It's just like, this means we've got like a lot of Yozakura family left. And we've got a lot of Yozakura family left. Because like I said to Party Jams Discord, like, even though we have the 5-year time frame and there might be a time skip, that doesn't mean we might not get more enemies just coming out of the woodworks to try and take down the Yozakura family even after Asa and everyone is defeated. That might be the case of what might actually happen. Whilst they're all training, more things might come and sprout up. Once fully matured, they'll be harvested and brought under direct control, and this is freaking Tayo out. But again, like I said, yeah, it's saying 10th generation egg and siblings, but again, why wouldn't they include Ayaka and Goliath in there? Like, that to me, it's just something that I feel like someone has to explain to me, because I'm not getting it at the moment. This where Creature is thinking back on what Asa had to say about the powers of the Yozakura family will remain the same, and they can still be useful for the good of the world. And he's starting to come to a realization of himself, even though I'm not entirely getting. What I'm getting at here is like what I said. It's like they're going to be harvested and brought under direct control, and maybe their blooming or powers are going to be spread out worldwide to create a whole army of Yozakuras based on the Simonian blood. They probably can drain the Simonian blood and extract it out to people so that everyone can have the blooming, and then once everyone has the blooming, no one will have the blooming. That's a theory that I'm going off here. Now, I know Scarred Hero or Sacred Hero might would not like that, because then it would make the blooming less unique, or unless they maybe take the Simone blood and create another sort of power system similar to what happened with the Tampo with that Hakasara drug. So something like that. But this is where they get information on two characters that we didn't see throughout the whole Momo saga: Ban and Kiko, aka the grandmother and grandfather, the eighth head of the Yozakura family, and her husband. So we finally get an update on them of just like, where the hell have you guys been all this time? So yeah, and even the characters are just like, when did we last hear from them? It's like they aren't self-aware of just like, oh yeah, we haven't heard from them in a while. Wait a second, are they in trouble as well? So we have Ban actually sending a call to everyone, as we see that they're on some sort of remote island, basically having a vacation at this point, but also trying to stay under the radar because they are aware of what is actually going on here. Because Mutsumi Chion emailed them a few days ago, didn't hear back, and Mutsumi gave them an email just like, hey, this is what's been happening. What can you tell us about this? If you can tell us anything, and maybe you might want to stay hidden for a while. And Ban's just like, oh, yo, Chion, sorry we were so late getting back to you. Oh, look, dear, it's everyone is here. But okay, down to serious business, guys. We're safe, so you don't have to worry about us. As you see, one guy who's just like sneaking around, just like, oh, don't have to worry about them. Oh, we'll see about that. But yeah, Ban mentions like, I think it was around the time you left the ship we started getting suspicious about what's going on around here. Certain people were popping up, and we were like very cautious about what was going on. So yeah, we're hiding out here, so we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be safe. But you guys need to worry about yourself. So yeah, at least we get an explanation of where they actually are. They're in hiding, which is more than I can say for some other series, because some other series would just basically forget about this character. And I think even Gondario Sensei kind of forgot about Ban and his wife, because I was saying for a while, what about them? Where were they all this time? But I think finally we got an answer like, okay, yeah, it makes sense that they would be hiding away, because even they would be targeted as well, being members of the Yozakura family. Keikyo, is that how you pronounce her name? Kiko, that's how you pronounce her name. So Kiko, Mutsumi's grandmother, is just like, oh, I read your email. I can't help but feel that something bad is creeping up on our family. That's that someone is probably. It's probably who manipulated Ri and Momo all those years ago. So we'll lay low for a while. We won't be able to get in touch with you as much as we want, which is sad, but it's for the best of our family, which again makes sense. Like, yeah, if you've got members out there in the world, you don't want to draw too much attention by contacting each other, because it can be traced and you'll all be in trouble at that point. So yeah, she reassures me like, look, you're the head of the family now. It's your job to protect your family. We can protect ourselves. We've been spies for so many years. Ban's been a spy for, they say, 40 years. So they're pretty much more than capable of handling themselves for now, you guys need to focus on yourself. As we see Ban being like, oh, so where should we head out to keep a low profile? Morocco, New York. Oh, I'm excited. So it's like we're going on another honeymoon, and yeah. And Kiko's just like, yeah, Shion, hang up. But Ban's just like, okay, wait, before we go, got something important to say. Kiricho, Tayo, thanks for handling Momo. I know you don't need to hear this from me, but take care of Mutsumi. And yeah, it's nice that despite the fact that Kiricho can be a real pain and creep at times, it's nice when he's being acknowledged for what he's doing, especially when he was integral in taking out Momo before Asa came in and interfered with anything. But yeah. Going on that front, this is what makes Asa a truly terrifying villain, is the fact that even Kiricho can't sense him, and it's very much established in the chapter that Asa is stronger than Kiricho. That is a scary thought to think about when you consider how powerful Kiricho is, being able to take on multiple heads of the family single-handedly. So yeah, to round out the end of the chapter, we have Ban ending the phone call, and everyone just being reassured of like, oh, we don't need to worry about them, they haven't made it 40 years as spies for nothing. So we get like a time frame for how long Ban has been a spy. Ban has been in the presence of the Yozakura family himself. So yeah, 4 years, perfectly good time to get a lot of experience and be like, okay, yeah, there are people coming after me and my family. We're the retired ones, so it's best if we keep a low profile and don't draw as much attention. But I'm sure they'll come back in a big way at the climax of this saga, which I guess I'm calling it the Asa saga, until we get the theory of like, is this part of the Zodiacs, or no? I think I'll call this the Asa saga. Don't know the name of the arc, but this is basically focusing on Asa as an antagonist, and then maybe we'll get the Zodiac saga as the final saga of Mission Yozakura family. But that's for later. That's I want to say another 2 years away, because the stuff with Momo and Tampopo that took 3 years. Well, Tampopo was done in like 1.5. Momo was done in 1.5. So this might be done in another 1.5. So we might have another 3 years of Yozakura family chapters being published, which means it probably will go up to actually chapter 300, which was the minimum ballpark I would say. I was estimating 400, but now I feel like 300 to 400, that'll be a perfectly good stopping off point for Mission Yozakura. But yeah, Tyler's just got so many thoughts going in his head about all this information that's being dumped on him. Just like, Musume and other siblings, grandpa and grandma, Sabumi, someone or something is after the entire family, but why? And then this is where we get like Asa making his appearance with the family, as we get, like I said, Kiricho basically establishing like, oh no, this guy is stronger than me, because he goes up and he says, I didn't sense his presence until he was close enough for me to hear his footsteps, which just goes to show just how skilled Asa is, and also how he was not only to do that, but also disable all the traps, all the house security, basically bypass everything with incredible ease, and as we see him enter the room and just give the most terrifying scare ever. Like seriously, this image of Asa is the thumbnail for the video, as you saw, and you can see why. Like, everyone in the community is just being like, okay, this guy is scary. Is a scary dude that you don't know want to meet in a dark alleyway. You thought Momo was scary. You ain't seen nothing yet. This guy is a whole different level of creepiness, scariness, because of the fact it's just like, it's just the facial expression of just like the blank staring of just like the eyes, just like, Sabumi, I've come to get you. Like, I just imagine having a voice like that, just like, Sabumi, I've come to get you. Like, oh, that just sends a shiver down your spine. Which you know you've got a pretty intimidating character where he doesn't have to either say much or do much, just be like, I've come to get you. It's time to go home. As you just see his eye, almost as if it's speaking from his eye, and that's where the chapter ends with just everyone just staring Asa down. So, whoa, what a chapter. Like, just bunch of exposition dump. We have a goal for this new threat of the Yozakura family. Basically, the same goal as Momo, but on a completely another level. Like, Momo wanted to get the whole family together, but not this. Want to get the whole family, Tsubumi, Ri, the grandparents. Again, like I say, not Goliath, and Ayaka, which they should be focusing on them as well. But at the same time, like, that is just crazy to think, like, the family, even after dealing with Momo and whole his antics, they're still not out of the woodworks yet. I don't think they're even out of the frying pan yet. I think they're still in the frying pan, and the fight is going to be the Zodiacs. Now, in terms of whether we'll get the time skip or not, that remains to be seen. And whether or not we'll get the Zodiac theory, again, that remains to be seen. Although it does seem like we're really pushing for those notions of just like, yeah, we've got the group called the Zodiacs. Again, Asa might not be the final antagonist. He might actually be one of the Zodiacs themselves. And this begs the question of, like, if Asa gets defeated, can they just bring out another one to replace him as a Zodiac? And do they have to take out the main head before the Zodiacs actually fall? That just so many questions running through your mind right now. That this is what I love again about Yozakura family. It's like, once you think like, okay, this is when the series is going, it's like, no, they throw in other plot points to like think like, okay, how much more can they just cram into it? And I guess as long as the author just keeps coming up with ideas for the series, which that seems like it would be a detriment, but at the same time, sometimes that does actually happen. Like, you can't always be Oda and just plan out everything to the T, down to that. And even Oda with One Piece doesn't do that. Like, he said that One Piece was only going to be a five-year series. Yeah, that didn't happen. I imagine that the author of Yozakura probably had that notion of like, okay, I have an idea of what's going to happen, but once he started thinking about the series, just ideas developing, it kept getting extended more and more, and yeah, that's kind of what way he was going here. I think he's got all the major plot points planned out. It's just they get expanded upon later, and that's what happens in stories. Like, you have to have like the major plot points planned out. Okay, this is where this part of the story is going, then it'll go to here, and then it'll go to here. The bits in between are the ones that actually expand it out. Like, because, for example, it could be like, okay, we've got this group called Tampopo, the Yozakura family are going to deal with that, then we're going to deal with their father Momo, and then we're going to deal with this other guy, Asa. And again, it's the plot points in between that are the ones that really get extended on, because it's like, okay, what are Tampopo all about? What is Momo all about? What is this guy Asa all about? What are the abilities of the Yozakura? Like, who has what? What does it do? What are the fights going to be like in the series? Just all those plot points that get expanded upon. So it's not like I don't think he's making stuff up on the spot. It's just like expanding on those like basic plot points that are lined out at the beginning of the planning stages of the series. And even then, some aspects I don't think he planned out all too much. Like, I don't think he. I think he always planned for there to be like, okay, yeah, the Yozakura siblings and family, they're not like a traditionally born family. They were probably created. He probably had this whole idea of the creating of the Yozakuras, but before Asa was introduced, he just didn't have all the details planned out. But that's just my theory based on being an author myself, because I had ideas that were in my stories that were like, okay, this wasn't planned out before, but I decided to add it in. Like, there was character in my, going off on a quick tangent, there was character in like my book trilogy that wasn't in the initial draft, but she eventually became a main character. And the book I'm currently writing, like two chapters that are split up are actually being condensed into one chapter, because they're pretty much the same chapter, just like a part 1 and a part 2. And I just feel like just combining those two chapters together to create one big chapter, which is the halfway point of the book at the moment. I felt like that would be the best way to go about it, rather than just repeating the same beats over and over again. And I feel like it's the same thing here. I feel like he has things planned out, and things that either get expanded upon later or just like get crammed in together, depending on the situation. But yeah, so many theories, so much going on in Yozakura this week, and it's just like a complete mind blown of just like what is going on here, and Asa is truly making himself an intimidating presence just by staring at you. Yeah, you would not want to meet Asa in a dark alleyway. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.